Hello everyone, my name is Crystal and welcome to Crystalized Witchery. So in today's video we'll be working on our 5th episode of Witchery 101. This episode is all about herbalism. So in this video of Witchery 101 we'll be discussing the different methods of how herbs can be put into our spell work, how does putting herbs affect our spell work, the top 5 beginner herbs that I recommend personally. So today, as you can see, I don't have my glasses on, my hair is kind of a mess. I'm just gonna be doing a really chill video. I put up a few pictures, you know, the usual, the dealio. But just a real chill day, let's chill together and let's learn something new. So there's so much to learn in this video, so stay tuned. Hello again everyone. So we'll be starting off with different methods of putting our herbs into our spells. The first one I want to start off with is the spell bottles and the sachets. I have done 2 separate videos, one all about sachets and one all about spell bottles. You can come check those out and the link will be in the description below. Both videos, one has 16 different sachets that you can make just with herbs, and 17 spell bottles that you can make just with herbs. So go check out those videos if you're interested. Next we have teas. There are herbs that you drink the tea for the taste, but there are other teas that are very medicinal. Just be sure that when you're going into herbalism, you decide if you want to go more into the metaphysical or the physical properties of the herbs. Just be careful because with certain herbs, many people can be allergic to them, and there's certain herbs that pregnant people should not drink or ingest at all. Just make sure that you know what you're doing and do your research before messing with any sort of herbs. Next, we have kind of like the beauty category. So you can do stuff like oils. There are many people that synthesize the herbs and mix them with oils to have that specific oil, like lavender oil, chamomile oil, rose oil, anything that floats your boat. The next thing I want to talk about is baths. So there are a lot of spiritual baths, and trust me, they work. I myself do a lot of lavender baths because I suffer a lot from anxiety and depression. So it helps a lot when you do a lavender bath and by the time you come out you just feel like a whole new person. You feel refreshed and very calm. So if you want me to make a video on how I personally do my lavender scrubs for baths, please let me know in the comments below and I'll try my best to make a video on that. And the last thing in the beauty category will be skincare. So anything skincare wise, you can mix it with oil. So let's say lotion. You can mix that with scented oils to kind of add that same like aromatherapy effect. Use it as well as like the metaphysical properties. So anything self-care wise are great for self-love and self-care spells. Next we'll be moving on to cleansing sprays. I know many people use these, and I myself was a big fan of rose water. I think rose water is great for protection, and you just kind of want to spray it over maybe an amulet or your candles before you burn them. Make sure they are not flammable because you don't want things to just spontaneously combust. So do your research. But a lot of these specific waters, like rose water, is very easy to do. I could do a separate video on that, but the gist of it is just getting all of the herbs that you want, then you boil them in water. And you just kind of let it sit there, let all of the essence from those herbs soak into the water, and then you use the water and you put in like a spray bottle or something. And there goes your cleansing spray. Of course, you can always enchant your bottles to make sure they know exactly what they're supposed to do when you spray them. Next we have offerings, and herbs are great for offerings. If you have an altar, you can have little bowls of certain herbs that might correlate with your deity. But under that idea of offerings, you also have things like draconian gardens or fae gardens, which I know are very, very popular. And you can also just attach herbs and even flowers, anything that you might want that you think is a great offering for your deity or whatever it is that you believe in. you can use that as well. Next, we have the ashes. You can use the ashes of the herbs that you end up burning in your spells, and you could use it for something else. If you are burning herbs for a love spell, and then you kind of could use those ashes for any other love spell. It depends if you are invoking it, because then those herbs already know that they're trying to invoke love. But if you are using it to get rid of heartache, it's going to absorb the negative energy, and you don't want to use any herbs that have absorbed negative energy. Just as a tip, of course you don't have to follow after that, but I think it's a good tip. With the idea of burning herbs, there are also bay leaves. I know bay leaves are very popular with wishes and desire spells. You write whatever wish or desire that you may have on the leaf, and then you just let the leaf burn. It's like the activation of the spell itself. I did also want to mention stuff like sage, palo santo, and just big bundles of herbs that you can kind of light on fire, and that just allows their essence to just be airborne, and it can either be used for protection, kind of make a loving and more sensual energy vibe depending on what it is that you want, like if you want that in your bedroom, or just to cleanse the area. Like you might want to use sage if you just moved into a new house, because sage removes all the energy. But palo santo, if you have lived in this house for a really long time and just want to remove the bad energy or the negative energy, you'll just use palo santo, and that will absorb the negative energy and just leave you with the good memories. You can also use herbs for seasonal decorations. So if you have something, for example, like Maybon, you can have any sort of Maybon colors, like basically autumn colors, so dark brown or kind of like a chocolatey brown, red, burnt orange, and yellow are the usual colors for Maybon. And you can have even fake flowers. It's still okay to put like on your altar, but just anything that correlates with that season, you can do spells for that and use the season as a sort of enhancement for your spells. Another great thing about herbs is that they're kind of all over. You might even look in your kitchen and find that you have herbs in there that you can actually use for your spell work. I'm always one that believes that you can use anything around you and just put that into a spell. Everything works, it just depends on you. I do have a video on home witchery, so if you want to check that out, I will also put that in the description below. My home witchery video is all about anything that you may have, like let's say in your garden, in your kitchen, just in your household in general. You can use any of those herbs that are around you and learn how to either use them raw, or you can bake them and just let them dry out in general and then harvest them for your spells. The next topic we're going to jump into is how does the herbs affect our spells. So kind of like I mentioned before, plants release energy, and these energies are known as essence. Each specific plant or herb releases a specific essence, and that is what leads the consequences to our spell work, whether they be good or bad. When you're doing your spell work, it's always great to have a clear intention of what it is that you want, because that then creates a sort of guarded passageway to allow the specific essence that you want from the plants into your work. For example, lavender. Lavender is an herb that's used for many different things, such as nightmares, calming or serenity spells, psychic abilities, and depression spells. So how is it that I can use lavender to just give me one of those properties in my spells? The way that I always envision it, when I do a spell, I kind of imagine a bubble around it. Make sure it's kind of protected, it's guarded. And so when I'm doing these spells and I add the different herbs, what I do is envision the essence that I want for my spell to go into that bubble only. So I always kind of like to remind everyone there is an actual science behind witchcraft. So if you kind of want to know more about the science of witchcraft and how exactly it works, I have created a separate video that I will link in the description below, which is the science behind witchcraft. I think it's very educational, and it just helps overall give you a bigger insight and believe in what you're doing a bit more. Especially in Herbal Magick, it is very important for you to already believe that your spell is done and it's giving you that effect so it can do its work properly. Because if your mental force is opposing it, it creates a mental blockage towards the spell, and the spell cannot reach the places it needs to reach to make what it is that you want happen. Now on our final topic, we'll be moving on to the 5 herbs I recommend beginner witches. So before I begin, I do want to say that I am recommending these 5 specifically because there is so much that you can do with these 5 herbs and almost any spell that you want to create. These herbs are not necessarily specialized, so it's not only just for wealth or it's not only just for luck. It's kind of like it mixes in with a lot of different ones. So we'll be getting into that now. So like I mentioned before, lavender. Lavender is used for nightmares, calming, psychic abilities, and depression spells. Next on my list I have nettles. Nettles are great for protection, hex removing, courage, and healing. Next I have lemon balm. Lemon balm is great for anxiety, fertility, wisdom, love, success, and psychic abilities. Next on the list is rosemary. I love rosemary because it is known as a substitution herb, and that basically means that if you don't have a specific herb that is needed for a spell, you can substitute the rosemary and it will take its place and do the same effect. So rosemary is great for youth or children's spells. For example, if you want to cure your child of their nightmares, or if you just had a child and you want to protect them, rosemary is great for that. And then the youth aspect of it is if you have a relationship that you have been in for many, many years and you don't want it to die out, you kind of want to keep the youth within your love, kind of like that puppy love. So you'll use rosemary within that love spell. Rosemary is also great for protection, love, healing, memory, nightmares, purifying, and fae offerings. And my last one out of the 5 are chestnuts. Chestnuts are great for abundance, longevity, grounding, centering, intuition, and love. With that being said, that concludes our 3 topics for this video, and I will see you all very shortly. Welcome back, everyone. So I have mentioned in my previous videos a little bit about this new business that I have been doing, but just in case there are some that have missed it, I now do tarot readings and spells for £5 each. This is an extremely low price, and if it sounds like something you're interested, please visit my website at crystallizedwitchery.weebly.com. The website will also be linked in the description below. My website has how both of the services work, links to where to pay, and how to donate. And as a side note, please remember that all donations are kept within the service, so everything that is needed, for example like the herbs that I use in my spells or the crystals, as well as anything that I use to purify the energies before a tarot reading. And it also helps to keep the service very cheap and affordable to those that want and need help. My website also has feedback from those that have previously worked with me and are very happy with my services. So it helps for anyone that might be skeptical about my services and feel like they need an extra push or an extra reason to go for my service. And finally, my website has my backstory. There you'll find why it is that I charge people to begin with, because at first I didn't used to charge people, and why I decided to do such hard work, because it really is hard work. It's very energy draining. For such a cheap price. So please, if you're interested, the link will be in the description below. But ladies and gentlemen, this is all for this video, and please go check out my website when possible. And now that we have come towards the end of this video, may all of you lovely gems continue to sparkle.